Hey everyone, welcome back to the Suburban Homesteader. In this video, I'm going to be taking you through an experimental flower bed that we're setting up. So this is our old sandpit for the kids in the shape of a boat. It was something that we picked up quite cheaply, so I have a feeling it's really cheap timber, maybe fir timber, and it had been lacquered. So the sandpit, it was way too small for what we needed it for. So we were going to be building the kids a new sandpit, and we wanted to repurpose this one. We thought it would be a fun little feature for the front garden, but because I'm not quite sure what the timber is and that I've also lacquered it, I'm definitely not going to be putting any edibles in this bed. So we thought it would be a fun little experiment for flowers. So we have a bunch of flowers that I've grown via seed, but also some tubers and some tulips that we picked up. Dahlias we picked up recently, but the bulbs we actually have had quite some time now, and they desperately needed to be in the bed. So I filled it up with a whole bunch of mushroom compost that we've had recently delivered. I've also chucked in some potting mix that I had lying around the house, and some blood and bone. Whether or not that's the right mix or not, I have no idea. But it's an experiment. We'll see what works, what doesn't work. And it'll be fun to see, as it starts to grow and thrive. So as mentioned, we picked up some bulbs. Well, Hamish was really excited at the Collectors Plant Fair back in April, and he picked up a whole bunch of different bulbs. They really should have been in the ground around May, so quite a few months ago. And I came across them. I kept reminding him and he kept forgetting. And I came across them and I'm like, look, we really need to get them in the bed. So we're just going to chuck them in, see if they grow. I have a feeling they might not, but you never know. So we have 3 different packs of tulip bulbs. We have the hot blend. We've also got a super mix and a pastel blend. Never grown tulips before, so will definitely be the first time for us. But we also have some daffodils and some, I think this is how you pronounce it, muscaris. All right, so we picked up these dahlias, the giant bicolor and the orange dahlia. I picked them up from Aldi, super quite cheap. I'm not a dahlia expert. I have picked up tubers from a reputable source for our backyard dahlias. Whether or not Aldi ones are good or not, I have no idea. But I've also got some cosmos, and also some zinnias that I've grown via seed that I'm also going to be putting in the bed as well. As I mentioned, the bulbs are super old. They're quite a few months old and needed to be in a lot sooner. So look, they are quite dry and some of them look a bit crispy. I don't have high hopes for those bulbs, but I just didn't want to throw them out. So I'm just gonna, we're just gonna put them in, see what happens. I'm pretty good at my bargain bin plants from Bunnings. I can reinvigorate those. Whether I can do it this time around for the bulbs, we'll soon see. Because I don't know whether or not they're going to be successful or not, look, I'm just going to be spacing them out like they are. Now here is what the dahlia tubers look like. I have no idea if that's normal or not. Before I get the dahlia tubers in though, I want to put in the actual flowers that I've grown. I've placed all the bulbs out just so I know where roughly I'm going to put things, but I want to get these in first. So this is the zinnia. I'm just going to separate it. There's about 3 plants in that one pot. They're looking really healthy, so I'm just going to be putting them in first, followed by the cosmos. So I'm just going to go around and put all the bulbs in. I'm going to be burying them to a depth twice the size of the actual bulb itself. So for the dahlias, I'm using this leftover citrus mix that I used when I planted out our dahlias in the back deck. So it's just a leftover mix that I had that I'm just going to be putting it right in the middle. Mix it up a little bit. The citrus mix is supposed to be a bit better for the dahlias, so I'm hoping this part works. So I'm literally just going to be burying them into this mix. Again, I'm not an expert, so I'm just going twice the depth of what the size of the actual tuber is, and seeing, like, hoping, fingers crossed and hopefully this works. But so I'm just spacing them out. There was about one decent sized tuber and one really small tuber that was a part. It was supposed to only be on one plant per packet, but it had the little ones in there as well. So I'm just going to chuck them in and see what happens. So I'm just going to give it a really good water in. I'm just using the watering can. We don't really have a good setup at the front for irrigation and watering, so I'm going to have to hand water this one, especially as they establish. My son also wanted to be helpful and help me water in the plants, which is very, very grateful for. So I'm going to be mulching it with some sugarcane mulch. I just had that lying around for what we're doing in the backyard with the veggie patches. So I'm just using the sugarcane mulch for this bed. I'm only doing it lightly over where I planted the bulbs. I don't know how thick to do it there. I don't want it too thick because I might deter it as they grow. So I'm just doing it thinly over there, and I can do a thick mulch later. So that's the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Let me know what you're growing at home, if you've got any experimental flower beds happening. I'll keep everyone updated with how this bed goes in particular. I do put daily posts on our Instagram page, the Suburban Homesteader AUS. But if you really like this channel, please like and subscribe, and happy gardening.